So I finally beat floor 150 and I couldn't be happier that it's done. I wanted to share some things that I learned along the way because this whole thing has been extremely difficult. And I'm basically going to show two teams I've been using. One of them is for non-boss floors, and that'd be floor 149 I'll show. And the other one would be for floor 150. So this is my non-bossing team. And it's basically just going to stun all the enemies and do some sort of percentage health damage to them. And that basically means I'm going to be using Kara and Pandora to do poisons, and Pandora's box, which does a percentage of their health. Now, it's important to realize that you can't stop or stun all the enemies, so you'll need some sort of like defense or healer, which is why I'm using Asenath, who reduces the damage when I do take it. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the fight so you have an idea of how it works. And as you can see, the Lotus is set up, the stuns are happening, and then all of the poisons and Pandora's box will actually be applied, and it does a ton of damage. Like, you'll start to see all the pops when they take their turn, and that is just, it makes the whole run so quick. Now for my bossing team, I don't know who made it originally. For me, I saw it first in global chat that someone was talking about Ollie doing crazy damage to the boss, and then one of my clubmates mentioned it as well, and from there I went and tried to figure it out. So if you look at Ollie's last skill, you can see that it does a percentage of the boss's health, or enemy's max HP, and it doesn't have a cap to it. This means that we're able to scale it with crit rate and crit damage as far as I know. And since mine doesn't have any skill ups on them, I actually am using Uday to reset the last skill in Ollie over and over again. Next we're using Mateo because of his spark, and that basically lets you get a ton of stacks on the boss. As you can see, mine doesn't have any skill ups on it as well. So after that, we're going to use that free Esper we got last month, I think, Elaine. And we're going to use her because she has a great attack break, and she does buff blocker, which is going to stop the boss from doing, well, basically one-shotting our team. Then we're using Ahmed, and I saw a lot of different builds. I saw people using Gaius too, for the Seer. Either way, make sure everyone's tanky because your job is to support Ollie. So I'm going to go over the team and how it works because it's not really that easy to understand, and this is like my 5th attempt at trying to beat this boss. So there's kind of a very specific turn order that needs to happen so that we don't just get one-shotted. First we have Mateo go and apply a spark. Then we have Elaine go and apply the attack down. Now after this we kind of want to lock down the boss as soon as possible, and we're going to opt to just attack with Ahmed and get the defense break using Mateo. So next I have a decision to make, and I'm going to choose to apply the buff blocker to make my next rotation easier, and heal up to reduce the cooldown so that way I can do it all over again. And this is why we build around Ollie. Like 30 million damage in one hit is crazy. And just like that, reset his cooldown so that way he can do it again. And that's kind of the whole setup. Everyone is built just to make sure that Ollie can go over and over again. Now, a lot of the time the boss is actually just going to straight up kill or pretty much one-shot Elaine, and that's going to let Ollie save her and counterattack, doing a ton of damage. And keep in mind, when you reset Ollie with Uday, that also basically resets his passive, so he'll go and try to save someone again. The counterattack won't be as much damage, but it's still a ton. So most of the fight's going to be like a balancing act where you're going to try to lock down the boss, you're going to make sure you have the cooldowns available for your other espers, as well as trying to reduce the cooldown on Ollie as much as possible. Now maybe this balancing act is easier if you have everyone with like max skills, but I don't have that. So for me, it's been a lot of like, it's been pretty hard to get everything lined up in the right way to actually beat the boss. That being said, this is the only strategy I've seen or used that seems to really work. And typically at the end, it's really not pretty. Usually just Ollie, like the last man standing. So prepare for that and don't give up in the fight like too early because there is a chance that things can actually go your way. Now that you have an idea of how it works, I'm going to speed this along and play some music. Okay, and like I said, it never ends in a very pretty way in these fights. And as you see, last turn, got lucky, finally killed him. I'm really not sure if this team is optimized or if it can be made simpler, but this is the one that worked for me, so consider it like a good skeleton to kind of build from. If you have any questions about the team, leave in the comments below, and if you have a team that worked for you, leave in the comments below so that way others can see it. As always, thank you for watching.